hilt of a small iron knife with a practical handle, and she palmed it under her sleeve when the owner wasn't looking. She had brown hair, tanned leather leggings, a short jacket, and a copper bracelet on her left arm. Her eyes were black, like the peat bogs of Jutland, where the old Danes ritually dumped the corpses of sacrificial victims. Her smile was easy and whole. The knight was enchanted. He followed Maid Marian on her rounds. He watched her as she nicked an apple here, and a piece of smoked fish there, and a length of cloth, and a silver brooch, and 2 hard-boiled eggs, and half a loaf of bread. He approached her at last at a stall selling puppies and said, "Pardon me, miss, may I have the pleasure of asking your name?" Maid Marian turned and saw the knight, and, in truth, the knight was very pleasing on the eye. She said, "It is Marian, good sir." Her gaze evaluated the knight's clothing and accessories and total worth. Since he was dressed well and wore silver and gold on his person quite openly, and in good taste beside, she figured him an easy mark. He gave her back a name of his own, though names meant little to his kind. He made small conversation, the weather and the rents in London, and how about those Vikings raiding up and down the coast. He held a puppy in his arms and stroked the little creature, and at the end he purchased it to give Maid Marian as a present and to slow her down. She took the puppy from his arms. He said, quite plainly, "I am a man in want of a wife, and I am a woman in want of some breakfast," she told him. Then she departed and left him there. The knight watched her go. He went to see some horses stabled just nearby. He spoke to a white steed a while and told it what he wanted, and loosened the rope that held the horse tight. Then the knight sought out 2 members of the city watch who were dozing near the place where the traders dumped their rubbish. He spoke softly and convincingly to them, and told them of the young woman he had seen, describing her precisely, and how he'd witnessed her thieving throughout the course of the morning. The men of the watch thanked him gruffly, for in truth they were none too keen on carrying out their duties, but now they were obliged. They lifted cudgels and put on scowls, and went forth into the market in search of the young woman the knight described. The knight positioned himself at some distance, and waited, and watched. It was not too long after that the confrontation occurred. The men of the watch spotted Maid Marian. Maid Marian spotted the men of the watch. They tried to restrain her. She tossed the puppy into the one's face and kicked him right in the nuts, broke the nose of the other, and made a run for it. The men of the watch, cursing, gave chase. Maid Marian headed for the gates, but more of the armed men gathered to block her way. The knight whistled. The white steed he had spoken to earlier neighed and broke free from its bonds. It galloped to the knight, and the knight, in one smooth flowing motion, jumped onto the horse's back. The men of the watch converged by the gate on the now desperate Maid Marian. She turned and turned, but her expression well told that she knew she was outnumbered. The knight, on his white horse, galloped to the rescue. The horse bore down on the men from the watch, and they scattered, lest they fall under its hooves. "Quick!" the knight called. Maid Marian turned and flashed him that easy smile. The knight reached down, and Maid Marian clasped his hand. He lifted her onto the horse, and she sat behind him and held onto his waist. The knight, with a song in his heart, in a dark language no one has spoken in centuries, spurred the horse through the gate. In moments they were out of the town, heading into the woods. Chapter 2. If you go into the woods today, you may not come out tomorrow, and the person who comes out may not be you, as the ancient sages said. The elfin knight carried Maid Marian into the woods, where oaks of yore made their habitat, and jostled with rowan and birch, hawthorn and holly. Soon the twisted trees grew too thick for the horse, and they abandoned it to wander back at its leisure. "It isn't that I'm not grateful," Maid Marian said, "but it is getting dark, and it is said many malevolent spirits wander inside Sherwood come the witching hour." "It is not far to a place of shelter, I know," said the knight, "and besides, they will be seeking you outside, to punish you." Maid Marian shrugged. "It would only be the loss of a nose, or an arm." "It would be quite a shame, should your face lose its nose," said the knight, "for a very attractive face it is." Maid Marian said nothing to that. The wood grew thick around them, and there were no longer any discernible paths. Far in the distance a wolf howled. Something scaly slithered through the underbrush. The knight, emboldened, led them on, and Maid Marian followed. As they went, the knight shed some of his earthly countenance.